Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something we all completely take for granted, securing the absolute most critical survival resource we have. I mean, water flows from the tap so reliably it's almost invisible to us. But what happens when we're suddenly forced to prepare for the unthinkable?
Okay, picture this. You go to the kitchen, turn the tap, and nothing. That comforting illusion of municipal water security is just instantly shattered. No warning, no ETA on a fix. So, honestly, what's your very next move?
This isn't just some doomsday fiction. This exact nightmare scenario actually hit a Bethesda, Maryland hospital back in 2008. A massive 66-inch water main ruptured out of nowhere. Suddenly, water pressure in the facility just plummets. It proves that if elite, critical institutions treating top military personnel can lose their essential supply in a heartbeat, well, the rest of us are definitely vulnerable too.
So today's explainer is basically your step-by-step roadmap to true self-reliance. We're going to cover the fragility of water systems, harvesting from the sky, filtration versus purification, emergency treatment at home, and finally, maintaining your water supply. Let's get right into it.
Starting off with Section 1. The fragility of water systems.
When the grid fails, it's way more catastrophic than just missing your morning glass of water. The cascading effects are literally immediate. Think about a hospital. Without water, heating and cooling systems just shut down. Disinfection and sterilization? Impossible. They even face a total loss of fire suppression, meaning sprinklers and hydrants run completely bone dry. It really hits home just how heavily our modern survival relies on a shockingly fragile grid.
All right, moving on to Section 2, harvesting from the sky.
Now this is where we take back our agency. Look up, 600. That is the magic number here. You might actually be stunned to learn that just a single inch of rain falling on a standard 1,000 square foot roof yields an incredible 600 gallons of harvestable water. To put that into perspective, even a tiny backyard shed can completely fill a barrel in one heavy storm. The resource is literally raining down on us. We just gotta catch it.
But you absolutely must respect the physics here, which brings us to our next number, 450. A standard 55-gallon drum weighs over 450 pounds when it's full, so unless you want a massive water feature crashing right through your flimsy wooden deck, you're gonna need a serious concrete or cinder block foundation. Don't skip that step. So here is the basic blueprint for your own DIY rainwater setup. You start with that stable, raised space we just talked about, throw on a spigot and a mesh screen to keep those pesky mosquitoes out. But here's the real secret weapon, the first flush diverter. This is a critical piece of piping that captures the initial dirty roof runoff. You know, the dust, the bird droppings, and keeps all that gunk completely out of your clean storage barrel.
Which brings us to Section 3, filtration versus purification.
Listen, having a barrel full of rainwater is fantastic, a real game changer. But we urgently need to talk about the life or death distinction here. Collected water is not automatically potable. Filtration is mechanical. It acts like a bouncer, physically removing the dirt, sediment, and larger bacteria. Purification, on the other hand, is biological. It's the mandatory final step, using chemicals, heat, or UV light to literally assassinate those invisible microscopic viruses that slip right through a filter. Bottom line, you need both.
Check out this incredibly simple setup. According to technical guidelines from the World Health Organization, you can actually build a household bucket filter using just sand and gravel. As the water pushes its way up through the layers in this upward flow system, it mechanically strips out those larger physical contaminants. Simple, but man, is it effective.
Now, if your water tastes completely flat or smells kind of funky after filtering and boiling, you can fix it with aeration. It's super easy. Just vigorously shake a partially full, sealed container for about 5 minutes. Doing this actually forces oxygen back into the water, releasing trapped volatile gases. It's a tiny trick, but actually it drastically improves the taste. Okay, moving to Section 4, emergency treatment at home. Consider this your mental cheat sheet for purification right at the point of use. You've got your standard boiling that requires a rolling boil for at least 1 minute, or 3 if you're up at a high altitude. Chemical tablets like chlorine or iodine are great, but remember, they need a strict 30-minute wait, and they don't kill all protozoa. What if you have no fuel or chemicals? Well, you can use soda, solar disinfection. You basically let the sun's natural UV rays destroy organisms in clear plastic bottles over 24 to 48 hours. And finally, distillation, which collects steam to strip out heavy metals right along with biological threats. Great options to have in your back pocket.
And finally, Section 5. Maintaining your water supply.
Building the system is an incredible first step, for sure, but keeping that supply safe long-term requires a discipline. A rainwater system is absolutely not set it and forget it. Think about it. If you neglect cleaning your gutters, you're literally feeding organic rot straight into your barrels. If you forget to drain your diverter after a storm, that dirty water spills right over into your pristine supply. And if those barrels let in sunlight, oh boy, you'll accidentally brew up a biological soup of algae. You've got to scrub them annually with a weak bleach solution and drain those pipes before the first hard freeze hits.
We really need to bust a dangerous myth here. The idea that rainwater is naturally pure just because it falls straight from the clouds. In reality, as it falls, it's gathering environmental pollutants right out of the air and then washing animal waste directly off your roof. So here is the golden rule. Never, ever drink directly from a rain barrel without running it through that strict two-stage process of filtration and purification first.
So it really all comes down to taking action now, way before an emergency strikes. Ask yourself, if the municipal grid totally collapses tomorrow morning, are you going to be left staring at an empty tap? Or will you be ready to harvest your own lifeline from the sky? It definitely makes you wonder, what other fragile systems in our modern homes are just waiting to be exposed?